Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Today Show. Really good to have you back with us, and mashallah, the weather is picking up as well, which just absolutely lifts the mood. Now, today we have with us Shaqib Juneja. Have I pronounced that right?
You have.
Alhamdulillah. General Manager of the Islamic Council, consultant of My Family Group, adoption panel member North East. Marital Mastery is what we're going to talk about today. Now, a practical and spiritual multi-session workshop to help you unlock the power of marital excellence. And you know what I love is this is a subject that is now accepted, open, and really talked about in our community, and it never used to be. So I think it's an amazing, positive thing. So talk us through this a little bit more.
So the thinking is this, right? At the Islamic Council, so you've got advisors who deal with Sharia compliancy, which is one whole area. So that's the business finance area. And then you've got this whole area that looks at family law. And you have a number of these advisors that for years have been dealing with family law cases, including cases of khula, talaq, marriage issues. And the number of cases that we've had over the past, let's just say the past couple of years, is over 1,000 cases.
Goodness.
So when you think of over 1,000 cases, and most of them are to do with marital issues, it becomes really important for those advisors to then share what they've been learning from all of those sessions that they've sat in. And I think it's one thing when you've got somebody who is a scholar talking about the importance of marriage and how it should look like in Islam. But it's another thing when you've got somebody who is on the ground constantly dealing with these issues in the community, and they know the reality, who then, you know, are able to then share that with people. So this was the thinking behind the course. So we developed a course where we could utilize all of that information and share with everybody how, if you are going to get married, how you're going to be able to master marital mastery is that, you know, so it's not just about being a husband or a wife. How can you be the best husband? How can you be the best wife? How can you get the best out of your marriage? So that was the thinking, and that's what we've done.
I think it's amazing, and we're going to touch on the content very shortly. But before that, every viewer watching is going to assume, is it for single people? Is it for people who are married? Who is your target audience for this?
Both. So when you go onto the website online at iceurope.org,
right,
and you'll see down there you can buy, there's two types of tickets. So there's a ticket for single people who, if you're not married, you can buy a ticket and just go through the course yourself, or you can go through the course as a couple, which works out slightly cheaper for the both of you.
Yeah.
And there'll be sessions specifically for the man and then for the woman. You know, specifically for the woman, and then there'll be an open Q&A session at the end. There'll be one conquering conflict. So it will give you an opportunity as a couple to then talk about what you've learned and try and maybe use some of the things that you know, the advisors are suggesting. But if you're single, you know, if you're looking to get married, or if you're actually got a date down the line, or somebody that's, you know, potentially going to be your partner, husband or wife, then again, you know, it just makes sense to be prepared for that. And this is why we've come through.
It's amazing.
So,
it's so, you know, so well thought through. I even love the way it's, you know, the 6 90-minute sessions over 3 weeks.
That's right.
Really manageable, really bite-sized, focused. You know, I like that approach. Is it all virtual?
So it's all online.
It's all online.
It's all online. We thought we'd go for an online this time, because the other thing about the Islamic Council is that we deal with the number of cases that we've got that now come from other parts of the world. So we've got a number from the States, some from Australia. It just makes sense for us to then open up and then allow some of the scholars down in Australia to kind of promote this as well amongst their circles. If we were to do it in person, I think you just really limit it to one city or one part of a city.
So does that end up happening? You get people from all around the world joining?
There will be, yes. So it's gone live literally at 5 o'clock today.
Is this first ever time you're running this?
So this course, there used to be a course that they did which was called Marriage Matters, and it was looking at some of these issues. So we've now developed on that course to become marital mastery. So it's not just about how to go through marriage, but it's about how to master this whole thing now.
Big
So we've
statement.
developed on it. This is the next level up.
Yeah.
So we've developed on it. And if someone has done that course, I think you can still come for this course, and perhaps there'll be a lot more that you'd learn from it. But yeah, the intention is to try and enable anyone anywhere to join.
Yeah.
And take the benefit. Obviously, it's in the English language, so but I think it will be really beneficial.
Absolutely,
for
really accessible, not just in terms of accessing online, but also in terms of, as we said, the 6 90-minute sessions. Now, I'm really keen to dive into some of these sessions and, how you've structured this. So let's start with the divine aims of marriage. I want to know, is it very theoretical, or is it really you get into the practicals, examples, things like that, or is it all just theory-based?
Okay, so the whole idea is to make it interactive. And the whole idea is to get people to really think about what they're bringing in terms of their thoughts into that relationship. We all carry, none of us are blank sheets, so we all carry some sort of baggage, whether it's based on how our families brought us up, or it's based on our assumptions of what marriage should be like. So we all go into marriage with something, and it's about unpicking that and enabling people to see, well, you're coming into this with this. We're not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's about understanding what from that is really useful to take in, and also what the faith would say and what the guidance is from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from his wives. So we hope that one of our trainers, the sister who's very well versed in giving this sort of advice, will then be able to kind of work with the people who are there to then help them not just, think about exactly what they're bringing in, but also how they can make that even better.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely going to be interactive. We have actually got a promo video. I'm not sure if you've got that
so
yet.
I was just about to link into this.
Right,
so
okay.
let's go straight to the video, and then we'll pick up some more questions after that.
Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
When anyone enters into an agreement of some sort, without first having investigated the ins and outs of this agreement, and without having fully understood and appreciated the implications of this contract, it is perfectly understandable if and when problems arise later on. And marriage is of absolutely no exception to this rule. It's one of the most significant of agreements which a person could possibly involve himself or herself in the life of this world. But again, in the absence of a true appreciation of this agreement and what it entails, problems are inevitable. And indeed, the statistics about the outcomes of Muslim marriages are terrifying, to say the least. The Islamic Council of Europe wants to play a role in addressing this. We have organized a seminar which will not be your typical list of do's and don'ts or your typical list of rights and responsibilities, but more importantly, and on top of that, we wish to share with you practical advice which you can apply at home, something tangible that you can go home with. We wish to address not only the couple within the marriage, husband and wife, but the other factors that surround them as well, that plays a role in the longevity of this relationship. And ultimately, we wish to suggest to you a broad marital framework, which will hopefully help bring scattered matters together and be the cause of everlasting harmony.
Now, that's actually quite a hard-hitting video, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it really is the reality, and obviously we choose to ignore that, marriages have problems and things like that, but the reality is it does sometimes lead to divorce and, those kinds of things, and we really don't want it to get there. And I'm thinking, well, I've been married, inshallah, 20 years in December,
Mashallah.
but I can also
Allah bless
think
your
about,
marriage, Hamid.
alhamdulillah, my nieces and nephews who are kind of at that age where they're looking for spouses, and I'm kind of thinking this is an amazing way that you're capturing both audiences to ensure, number one, for me, it's never too late. There's always more to learn. And number two, for them, it's like this is the best way to start your new life kind of thing, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
it's really well thought out. Do you feel like I'm trying to work out how you manage it with those two contrasts in the same environment. But actually, the topics that you have are relevant to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, if someone's, for example, a marriage auntie or a marriage uncle, you know, and we have quite a lot of those in
Is that what you're classing me as?
Yes, I didn't say you're one of those.
I mean, I'd go with sister. No, I'm kidding.
You know, as we move on, I suppose we eventually get to that level, don't we? Or we try and help everybody else to get married.
Yeah.
Mashallah, it's reminded me, one of the brothers who actually was involved in it's kind of marketing all of this is actually in Medina at the moment. And, you know, through this, one of the sisters was actually involved in this, who said to him, "Oh, brother, are you married?" And, you know, it just naturally starts to happen, you know. And I think this is a beautiful example of how actually what we've done here is to cater for everybody, because it's the kind of thing that if you were advising somebody on marriage, you'd want to know what to advise them on.
Yes.
You know, this course then, you know, it's not just a course, it's a workshop. It's a 3-week, very practical, very spiritual workshop, which then takes you through all the things that you can possibly do to make that marriage work. You know, if there was something like this available, go back all of those years ago when, you know, before we got married, or, you know, we would have loved to go through something like this. It would have been so valuable.
Yeah.
And perhaps it would have made so much of a difference. But we pray and we hope that for young people who are getting married this year, next year, and you know, soon,
Inshallah,
something like this is extremely beneficial for them. It's not a very small course, you know, it's not one of those kind of half an hour, 30 minutes, it's not a lecture. You know, it's practically taken. We've got a workbook that we're expecting people to be able to go through, you know, and practically fill in some things and think about, you know, there are some graphs, there are some images, there are some, it's really, really, really practical.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm looking at this, and this is what I'm a real fan of, is I'm not a fan of kind of signing up to attend something that I could really just watch on YouTube afterwards. And I love that interactive side and, you know, looking at these topics and the focus, the art of being a husband, the art of being a wife, paths to fulfillment, excellence as a couple, and then the open Q&A at the end. It feels so interactive. And then when you pick up on, you know, a workbook that takes you through that as well, I guess it kind of enhances that, doesn't it? Because you're actually, you know, that workbook, is there a thought process? Is it just like a journal, or is there more to it?
So I'll give you an example of just one thing in the actual course. So in the conquering conflict topic that we've got, we look at, and again, this is, I don't want to give too much information,
I know.
you know, so because it is in there, but we look at what if the husband wants something and the wife wants something, and they're now in conflict because it seems to be different things. How do you turn that from either a win-lose to a win-win? How do you turn that into a win-win? And there's a very simple graph that one of our trainers, Sheikh Farid, has, you know, he's put into this course. I think one of the trainers from the States, Sheikh Ali Ahmed, who's also on the Islamic Council, you know, and he's got a PhD in Sharia, he's put this together, the conquering conflict area. And it talks about whether you give up your side and just let the other person win, or none of you win, just lose. You're not going to get your way. If you don't get your way, I won't get my, you know, it's like lose. Or do you come to some sort of agreement?
Mutual agreement,
And then there's one even above that, which I was surprised to learn, which is called collaboration. Sometimes you just get together and say, well, perhaps we haven't thought of something else which might be even better than both of these ideas. And so you collaborate with each other to get an even higher win. And so learning how you can do that as part of conflict resolution, as part of conquering that conflict, I think, you know, I benefited just by going through the course booklet and looking at it. You know, and I'm certain that I will definitely be on this course as well, because I've not done it myself.
I know, you're tempting me as well.
I will definitely, we'll both be on it. So this is an encouragement for everybody really to sign up and see for yourself how valuable it is. And definitely one thing that I'm really looking forward to is to hearing from those advisors who day in, day out are working with families to try and help them overcome their
Wow.
issues and become, reconcile. On what works on a day-to-day basis that could work for anybody else.
This sounds amazing. Now, look, obviously, a lot of viewers will be watching and thinking, yes, I've got the link. Just remind us of the website.
So, as we saw on the video, it's if you go to www.online.iceurope.org.
Okay, and it
that's-
starts, or did you say it's already started?
And we've literally launched the campaign today.
Right.
So we've got 30 days. It starts on the 3rd of July.
Oh, good.
Right,
Not,
so we've
the
got
course hasn't started.
The course hasn't
The campaign started.
The campaign started to get just the marketing so people know it's out there.
Lovely.
So people know that this is a course, this is what it's all about. This is part of it, me being here and what we've done on social media today and what we're going to continue doing for the next couple of days. And there is an early bird offer out at the moment for the next
nice.
week. So people should just take advantage of that.
Amazing. Shaqib, what an amazing way to start your campaign here on Islam Channel as well on today's show. I'm sure viewers will be immensely interested. And thank you so much for taking us through the detail of what looks like an amazing programme. And inshallah, hope you much success.
Thank you
We
so
will
much,
see you back
Ayesha.
shortly after this break.